YouTube? We are back for the Flash Comics 78. And what I am going to do now is a series in a series. So what I want to do is I want to be very clear on how to leaf cast interior pages step by step. So if you guys decide that you want to try to do it, because the reason why it's going to be important is because I am going to leaf cast a few pages without the table. I'm going to show you how it could be done with just Ramee paper, paper pulp, a blender, some basic supplies, and paper towels, maybe a grate. I'll show you how you can do it at home for some minor repairs, such as this side over here. And hopefully more people will try the task, because I do get a lot of comments on my uploads where people would like to try to do leaf casting, but they just don't have the supplies or the machines that I have, which the machines is the leaf casting table that I made on my own. So what are we going to do? The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to state a mission. The mission is I want to try to match the pulp as close as possible. And this will be chapter 1. And I've done this in the past before, but there's going to be some slight changes, so please watch if you're interested and support the channel. We have my beaker. We have, or my wife's old measuring cup. I like to sound scientific to those people out there who may be chemists. So I say beaker because maybe I'm a little bit more scientific now. So what do we got here? Newsprint. It's from Blick. This is a art supply store. Newsprint is what they used to use, the manufacturers, when they made the comic books back in the day, cheap paper. So this is what I use to make the paper pulp. But one thing is, obviously it's not the color of the paper pulp. So we're going to try to match it as best as possible, okay? So step 1. If one thing that I learned from doing Mike Night Tiger's book, Captain Arrow, was that I made a commitment to myself that I could not run out of pulp, because with that book I did run out of pulp and I had to make a few more batches. And sorry, Mike, the color, I did my best to match it, but it wasn't 100%. In addition, each page in that book was a different color based on the way it was stored and the age. So usually I don't use a whole sheet, but to make it simple, this time I am going to use a whole sheet. So all that you do is you just rip it up. It doesn't have to be ripped up in any particular order or shape or size, but you just want to rip it up and you want to put it into the actual measuring cup or whatever vessel you use, because after it's ripped up, what is going to happen is we are simply going to add water. And you want the paper in its non-wet form to soak for what I'm going to say overnight. I think the more it soaks, the better it breaks up and the pulp becomes better when you do the leaf casting. So we're going to use one sheet. This is going to create a lot of pulp for us. Then I'm going to pour 1 bottle of Poland Spring. This is not distilled water. This is nothing fancy. You know what? Let's go with maybe a little bit more, 1.5 bottles, because like I said, I want to make a lot of pulp. Maybe I should pour some Beck's. I don't think so. Cheers. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this soak overnight. And after it soaks overnight, the paper will start to break down and it will be easily where you can shred it and break it with your hands. And what I do is during the course of the night, I'll come down into my basement if I want to break from everyone, and I'll just tear it up. But what we're going to also do is we are going to add bleach to the water. And once the bleach is added, you'll see that the gray in the paper pulp, or the paper, newsprint paper, will turn to a brown. And it will be similar, hopefully, to the existing paper that I have. So, meaning with the Flash comics. So we're gonna let this sit overnight, and then by the magic of editing, we will be in the same position 24 hours later. So hang out, and here we go. Okay guys, we are back, and the paper, the newsprint paper, has been soaking overnight. So a little bit more than overnight. So basically for about 15 hours. And I can tell just by stirring it that it definitely loosened up, where it would easily fall apart if I were to touch it. But what I want to do now is I want to use Clorox bleach. And I want to pour some bleach in here, and I want to soak it in the bleach. And as you'll see, the bleach will bleach out the paper, making it more of a tannish color, which, if we are lucky, there will not be that much manipulation that has to be done to the colors in order to make it similar to the Flash comics interior. So there you go, by way of example. So what I'll do is I'll let this soak in the bleach, not long. I think probably that's enough right now, because the bleach does its job very quickly. So by it soaking and it changing the color of the newsprint, hopefully we'll be in good shape, and I do not have to do a lot of manipulation with adding different paper pulps. Now, what I also want to do is, off camera, I'm going to bring this upstairs, and I am going to drain the bleach with a strainer from my beaker, because I do want to get the bleach out, and I will put fresh water into the actual measuring cup with the paper pulp, and then we'll start the soaking once again. So that's about it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to drain this, and then when we come back, like I said, I will start blending it and doing the next steps necessary in order to create the paper pulp. And bleach is good. Bleach is a base, meaning it's not acidic, based on my research. So it will neutralize any acid that may be in this paper, because I don't know if this is acid-free paper, but the bleach does that for it. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.